Okay, so tomorrow is a huge day in the Dogecoin world. A huge day in the Dogecoin world. I want to talk about this. I have some stuff on my mind, and I think that it's some good information to drop. So I just felt like doing a late night live feed and then dropping this information so it gets out there before all of tomorrow, because I'm pretty nervous about this for the Dogecoiners, and I wanted to share some information for you. First off, props if you've been holding Dogecoin and you've done very well on it. Congratulations. Congratulations to you. Bravo. You've done very well. A lot of Dogecoin buyers, if they bought below 10 cents are up, 7, 8, 9, 10x on their positions. I wanted to drop a video to share some information from a different perspective, a perspective that has a bias towards Bitcoin. Obviously, I'm a Bitcoin maximalist, so I have that bias there. I wanted to share that. The title of this video is Dogecoin will send Bitcoin to the moon. And I don't mean that in like a, Dogecoin isn't as good as Bitcoin way. I mean it in a way where it might be an eye opener for the Dogecoin crowd that, hey, we actually want to move our profits into a coin that has a hard cap. Maybe it's time to move some of my Dogecoin profits into a crypto that actually has a finite amount of them. The top asset crypto. Maybe it would be a good idea to save some of my profits in Doge. I wanted to basically do this video because there's some nerve-wracking things that maybe you're not thinking about in the Dogecoin world. But again, props to you for making a lot of money in it. The reason that the Bitcoin maximalist crowd and all the people that only buy Bitcoin and even the Ethereum and the other coins as well are so opposed to Dogecoin or gave the Dogecoin crowd a hard time is because it's seen as making a mockery of the legitimate cryptos. It's seen as making a mockery, of the actual legitimate cryptos out there. But the situation became that maybe, just maybe, it's a good move to show that, the entire system is a joke. Maybe it's a good move because realistically, the dollar is a meme coin too, in my personal opinion. And by the way, these are all my personal opinions, not to be taken as financial advice. But the first thing I want to talk about, here is a very scary stat if you're in the Dogecoin crowd. And I wanted to drop this video to help you because maybe if I'm putting this out there, if I was in the position that I made, let's say $200,000 on Dogecoin, and I'm sure there's many of you out there. Let's say I'm in the position where I bought Doge with 20 grand and it had a 10x return and I have 200 grand now. If I was in this position, not to be taken as financial advice, just saying, rhetorically, if I was in this position, I would sell half ahead of the SNL event. That's what I would do personally, not to be taken as financial advice again. And that's why I'm dropping this video, because I wanted to talk about it. Because if I was up that much, I wouldn't mind letting the other half ride, but I would take half off the table so that I knew that my original investment is secured plus an extra, 400, 500%. That's how I would do it personally. And then if I did take that out, maybe I would take 200% of it off the table. So 20% of it off the table, which would have been double my initial investment. Let's pretend I'm 10x up. So I'd take the 20%, tuck that away into a cash position and set that as, powder, just there waiting for me to put in the next investment. I would probably put the other 30% in Bitcoin because that's an actual asset crypto with a finite amount of them. But the first thing I wanted to talk about that I'm so nervous about is what happened with GameStop when you trusted GameStop with a ridiculously large majority position from the retail audience. Is anybody thinking about this? Like, let's be real here. I understand that there's going to be some people that see the title of this and immediately do a downvote because they're part of the Dogecoin crowd. And you guys are a powerful bunch. Props to you. You're doing a great job. Right now, I'm looking on the right. Dogecoin's at 71 cents right now. So it's nearing all-time highs. I think its all-time high was around 75 cents. So right before this SNL event, that's going to be today, I guess, because it's late at night. Ahead of this event, you're already almost at all-time highs. So if I was in that position where I was up very big on Dogecoin, I would leave half to ride because I'm already up so much, and I might as well take the gamble with the SNL event, see where it goes from there. But I would take half off the table. and put that into Bitcoin and then take my original investment out. I mean, where is the logic wrong in that? I'm trying to find the wrong logic there. And what most people don't realize here is Robinhood holds over 30% of the Dogecoin. That's the number I'm hearing. Only on Robinhood, they have 30% of the Dogecoin. Roughly a third of the Dogecoin out there are all trusting Vladimir? The guy, you guys remember what he did with GameStop? Do you remember that whole situation? It's plummeting, only allows you to sell it, doesn't allow you to buy it anymore. Do you remember that happening? Because I remember that happening. I don't know if you remember that happening, but I do. I remember that happening. Think about that. And this is a video I'm not trying to bash Dogecoin. You've done a great job. And by the way, you have the best cheerleader on the planet for Doge. So does Bitcoin. So Bitcoin and Doge both have the best cheerleader on the planet, which is Elon Musk. And I really think that statistically, there isn't a better cheerleader for crypto. Like there isn't another human on the planet that would be a better person statistically based on his Twitter following, based on what he's doing with his companies. He's a leader in renewable energy. I mean, it's the best possible person you could ever have to be promoting your crypto. So you have that going for you. But think about that for a second. If this is a buy the news or buy the rumor, sell the news event. I'm sure you've all heard that line. Buy the news, sell the rumor, right? If this is that kind of an event, and it's being trusted with Robinhood, that's a very scary scenario if you ask me, because I don't really trust Robinhood. I don't know about you, but after what they did with GameStop, this is literally the same scenario. Retail crowd getting together, buying a meme stock. Retail crowd getting together, buying a microcap stock that's overly shorted. Is this not the same type of a scenario? This was on my mind before I call it a night. And I wanted to go live to talk about this with everybody because you really got to think about this. This is some real genuine information here from a person that's biased towards Bitcoin. Just being honest with you about that. I hold Bitcoin. I don't hold any Doge. I missed out completely on the Doge gain. So I am somebody that holds a bit of a bias. So that's that. But really look at where is this Dogecoin? Coinbase isn't allowing Dogecoin, right? You would think that it would be a good marketing move for Coinbase to allow Dogecoin ahead of this SNL event. If I was in charge of marketing, I would see that as a good play. You see, Mark Cuban and these guys, they don't really care about Dogecoin like the retail crowd does. They're just using it. They're using it as a marketing ploy. Mark Cuban was so against cryptocurrency in the beginning. He was not a real cryptocurrency supporter. And then out of nowhere, now he's a Dogecoin guy, right? I feel like it's almost like conniving in a way, like he's using the audience for hype. And so is the Slim Jim thing. So is I think Ellen is in on it now. I mean, it's like you're getting these celebrities promoting their companies by using Dogecoin for free because it's hyping the crowd. And I don't think that's very fair. You know, I don't know how to feel about it. But I never really saw the people that are really promoting Doge, other than Elon Musk, I never saw them as a true cryptocurrency advocate, you know? And so I wanted to drop this video late at night and just post it on the channel so everybody tomorrow can possibly view this video and it could help them. But remember, this is another situation. There's two things I wanted to talk about in this video, or actually quite a few things, but two main points. The first one is we're trusting Robinhood again. I don't like that. I don't like that one bit. So if there was two things I would do prior to this SNL event, and that's why I wanted to rush this video out there right as I'm still in the warehouse. It's a late night. I'm just overworking, I guess. But the first thing I would do, and this is to help the Dogecoin crowd, not to insult you guys. The first thing I would do is I would sell half if I was up over, I'd say if I was up over 5x. If I was up over 500%, I would sell half personally. I would take my original investment off the table, put the rest into an actual asset crypto like Bitcoin. I would then take my Dogecoin off of Robinhood if I could. I don't know if they're allowing you to do that. If Robinhood is allowing you to take your Dogecoin off, I would do that immediately and put it into a hard wallet. I would do whatever I could to get a hard wallet and take my Dogecoin off of Robinhood's app. Because if there is a situation where they're only allowing you to sell it and they're not allowing you to buy it, I mean, you could, I guess, hold it with them, but I just don't trust Robinhood ahead of an event like this. That's just how I feel. I don't know what could happen here if you're trusting Robinhood with a whole third. That's not some people are saying that's a positive thing. Do you guys, do we remember what they did to us with GameStop? Do you remember that? I mean, it was wrong. This guy, Vladimir, he didn't care at all about what he did. And then he went on this whole publicity tour to try to save image. But now they're doing that in a way. We're allowing Robinhood to save their image in the retail space by using this Dogecoin situation to their advantage. And that makes me nervous. But then the second thing I wanted to talk about. So the first thing is I would sell half and then put the other half. But to give you guys credit, I would hold, if I was up over 5x, I wouldn't sell all my Dogecoin. If I was in the position that I did a lot of options trading prior to being in the precious metals business, this reminds me of when I used to trust Elon Musk. Oh, the big Model 3 event, market sells off. You do like a 2-week expiration on a call option and lose all your money. You know, it reminds me of those. Elon Musk does that where he'll hype, and he doesn't realize if it does sell off, it really hurts people. He does that a lot. So just be careful with him, because I've been a fan of Elon Musk since 2013. It was the first stock I ever bought was Tesla stock. I made a lot of money on Tesla stock options. But the problem that I had always faced when I was in the process of learning about options was trusting these little events. Oh, the Model 3 event. Oh, the earnings call report. I'm sure a lot of the traders in the room you feel my pain when I bring that up. But when you're trusting it, it's usually a buy the news, buy the rumor, sell the news type of event. But what happened? So after those are the first thing I want to talk about. Sell half, make sure that you're not trusting Robinhood. The next thing I wanted to bring up that's really important here is what happened when we trusted Elon Musk with the whole Super Bowl thing. Are we forgetting that? SNL, Super Bowl, there was an ad that was going viral on Twitter about, Dogecoin, and it was like the hype of the hype that Elon Musk was going to put it in the Super Bowl, and there was all this stuff, and then everybody was all mad about it. And then not only did he not put it in the Super Bowl, literally like the next day, they announced that they bought Bitcoin instead. Like, to add insult to injury, that's what happened in that scenario. So what I'm trying to do is I wanted to post this video coming from somebody that was wrong about the price on Dogecoin. I did not think Dogecoin was going to do what it did. I had no idea. From a software standpoint, from its design, I'm not a fan of its design. And I want to go over that in detail on why I'm not a fan of its design. But it could work as a currency. I suppose it could work. That was why I was against it, but I didn't see it doing what it was going to do. But in this specific scenario, if I was asking myself, what am I going to do? Am I going to really let this roll? And the first thing that came to my mind is, I don't know if you've seen this video, and I'm sure you have if you're searching on YouTube Dogecoin videos, but there's this guy who is a Dogecoin millionaire, and he's got a big beard. He's got like a beard, and he's on Andre Jenks' channel, and then Graham Stephan. They did a video together, I think, yesterday, and they were talking about his Dogecoin position, which is nearing 3 million. So he's got like 2.7 million. So this is the ultimate Dogecoin guy. He started with like 100 some odd thousand, 180,000. Now he's got almost 3 million in Doge. He has gone on the record multiple times to say, I will sell my Dogecoin when it hits 10 million. So what's different about that ideal, the reason to think that way, and they even asked him in this interview. So if after you watch this video, go watch that other video that I'm talking about. I believe it's on Andre's channel. You just look up Dogecoin millionaire. I'm sure it'll pop up 5 times. If that's the mindset, that is, all of the people with large positions in Dogecoin, they do have a number in mind on where they would sell it. And they asked him, well, why would you sell your Dogecoin? Oh, well, I can't buy a house with Dogecoin. But wait, you're going to use it as a currency? Well, no, I would sell it and I would buy a house with it. So if that's the mindset, like I'm going to hold this until this number here, that's a scary scenario for me, because people in the Bitcoin world are holding forever. The Bitcoin that I'm holding, I'm not selling that. If I do, and they're not offering this type of a situation, I've talked about this many times in the past. If I do want dollars, I will get a loan against my Bitcoin and I will get dollars that way, but I'm not looking to sell my Bitcoin. I take the same principles that I learned from Michael Saylor. That's what I'm doing with my Bitcoin position. I don't want to declare a capital gain. A lot of people in the Dogecoin space are riding it to make themselves money. They want to make more dollars. They want to sell it and get dollars. So I know that there's a lot of people that are holding it and they believe it's going to be a currency, but that's another thing I want to go over. the other thing I want to go over is Bitcoin has been defined by our actual government as an asset. So I know that we use the term cryptocurrency, and this is really good information for you to know. I know we use the term cryptocurrency, but really Bitcoin is a crypto asset. That's the truth. Bitcoin is a crypto asset and it has actually been defined that way by our own government. How do you define that? How do you define something as an asset? Well, it creates a taxable event when you trade it. The second you buy something with it, it creates a taxable event. That's how you know it's an asset versus a currency. A currency, you can just trade it, and then you deal with the sales tax, but you don't have an actual capital gain by dealing in currency. However, with Dogecoin, you are dealing with capital gains. If you go buy something with your Dogecoin, you're going to deal with a capital gain. So it's not technically a currency, technically speaking. The scary part is if you are considering it a currency and there is this huge supply of Dogecoin, that's lining yourself up for major regulation. In the Bitcoin space, the reason I'm such a fan of Bitcoin is if I have, a good amount of Bitcoin, and a good amount is nothing compared to the guys like Elon Musk and Michael Saylor, etc. If there is regulation on Bitcoin, I immediately have a multi-billion-dollar legal team from being in Bitcoin. That's why I'm so big on Bitcoin. Not only is it the software, the design of it that I like the most, that is an actual storage of value in the digital realm, but it's also the fact that I get a $1 billion legal team if anybody decides to try to mess with it. So if any entity out there decides to put regulation on Bitcoin or tries to mess with it, you immediately have the legal team of Tesla. You immediately have the legal team of MicroStrategy because they have money to lose there. They would actually have, damages. If there was that kind of an event, they could sue or would do whatever they could to make sure that they don't lose $5 billion some odd dollars over there at MicroStrategy. So yeah, you better believe their legal team is going to give them a hard time if somebody just decides to try to impose. So of the cryptocurrencies, and I'm not all in on anything at all. I have way more silver than any amount of cryptocurrency. And the only cryptocurrency I have is Bitcoin. So, that's pretty much where I stand on it. But I like the idea of being in the asset that has those kinds of people in my corner. I like that. But if you're trying to be a currency, first off, you're not. Let's just be honest. If you buy something with Dogecoin, you are creating a taxable event. You've had a capital gain, probably a very serious capital gain. Probably under a year, probably well over like 500%, and you're probably going to owe like 50%, 40 some odd percent on this from doing less than 1 year capital gain. So you do not have a currency. Let's be honest about that. When you define what a currency really is, it's something that you can just trade and all you have is a sales tax. That is not what you have with Dogecoin. You trade that Dogecoin, you have created a taxable event. So let's go ahead and know that for a fact. That's what it is. What worries me is a large quantity of these with an inflation rate. You are simulating a currency. And so you're not a currency, but you're simulating a currency. That is something that will get regulated like XRP did. That's something that they're going to have the eyeballs on. So there's all these different things that I'm very nervous about with Dogecoin. And this isn't a video to, be against Dogecoin. I'm not, and I've done that in the past. I've been very vocally against Dogecoin until it won. The reason I was so vocally against Dogecoin is that I was thinking to myself, the tech is insuperior. It's not a programmable money. It's not a hard cap. It has all these different things, and I didn't like that. But also, Litecoin exists. So if Litecoin existed and there was other coins that you could do a quick payment in, I didn't see a need for it. But then the thing is, it won the race. So now as I'm looking at it, it's number 4 on the cryptocurrency. So that makes the whole argument differ. If it was at number 4 when I made my first initial videos on Dogecoin, I would have had a different stance because it's winning the race. It's in the top 5. It's number 4. So yeah, it's a pretty serious coin now. I mean, when you're talking about you mean to tell me, so it's got almost $100 billion market cap, and of that $100 billion, Robinhood is being trusted with roughly $35 billion. What was the total for the guys in the live stream? What was the total market cap on GameStop at the highest point? Was it even up to $100 billion? I don't think it was. I don't think it was even close, right? I don't think GameStop got even near $100 billion. So you're mean to tell me that right before a major event, there is $35 billion roughly of Dogecoin being trusted with Robinhood. That is a staggering number. That is a staggering number. And I hope that this video is drawing some awareness and helping you guys, because that's what my goal is. I'm already wrong about the price. You can dig me as much as you want about that because I deserve it. I thought Dogecoin wasn't going to do anything like this. And that was back when it was like 8 cents. So in regards to the price, completely, I was way off, totally missed that. I got Bitcoin down pretty solid beneath 10K. Done a lot of videos on that. I've done videos on silver way beneath, in the mid-teens, but this one I completely missed the boat on it. I never thought it was going to get to 70 cents like that. But I wanted to drop some awareness on the little bit of knowledge that I do know, and some concerns that I have, because last time Elon Musk was trusted with a big event, so to speak, it was the Super Bowl situation. And I'm sure everybody in the Dogecoin space, you remember that, because I remember it. And I was bragging and boasting about how I said, oh, they were going to go into Bitcoin, and look at, they went into Bitcoin and they didn't go into Dogecoin. How wrong is that? You're pumping Dogecoin and then you go and put that much, you put 1.5 billion in Bitcoin. Why didn't you put 500 million in Dogecoin? You put 1.5 billion. Why didn't you just throw 500 million at Dogecoin too with it? He has 15 billion he's working with at the treasury over there at Tesla, and they put 1.5 billion. Why not even 100 million? Why not even throw 100 million at Dogecoin and show a little bit of support? But he didn't. He only put it into Bitcoin. So that's what happened last time before a major event. And so what happens if it just turns into him wearing a Doge t-shirt? What's really the ultimate scenario here? If we think about it from a logical perspective, the ultimate scenario, because I can tell you what the ultimate scenario is for Bitcoin. The ultimate scenario for Bitcoin is MicroStrategy buys 5 billion of it. There's an actual ETF on the stock market called Grayscale buying billions of it. There's Tesla buying 1.5 billion of it. That's the best case scenario with Bitcoin, and it's already happening. But when it comes to Dogecoin, you got guys like Mark Cuban that aren't really Dogecoiners. He's not throwing $1 billion into Dogecoin. He is using the Dogecoin crowd for marketing purposes. And it's brilliant. Props to him for uncovering that that's a good marketing idea, because that's what they're bringing up in these videos. Oh, well, I can go buy merch. It's like, do you care about wearing a Mavs t-shirt? Like, really? Do you care about wearing a Mavs t-shirt? He's not selling you a car. He's selling you t-shirts and hats. Like, you care about buying, Vegas Knights merch. You're not getting something that's of substance, So I think I see them as not actually buying the Dogecoin, and they're buying Bitcoin. Look at Kevin O'Leary. Kevin O'Leary was very, very opposed to Bitcoin publicly. And then he just announced they put a 3% position in. And he's so well attuned to Bitcoin, if that's a word. He's so well tuned into Bitcoin that he actually cares about whether he's getting a dirty Bitcoin from non-clean energy sources or a clean Bitcoin into it. It's like they're going into detail now. There's now a clean and dirty Bitcoin, in case you didn't know. There was a video recently with Kevin O'Leary, but those are the best case scenarios for Bitcoin. I just see that what's the best possible case scenario for Dogecoin? You got 40% of the coin is held by whales, right? You got 40% of it roughly that's held by whales. That's where the most of the coins are in Dogecoin. You got 30% of it from the retail crowd that's being trusted with Robinhood. So you got 40% of it with the whales position that's just made a fortune. The whales just made a bloody fortune with roughly 40% of this coin with a 5% inflation rate. That is decreasing. It's fair to say that it's a decreasing from 5%, but in the near term, adding 5 billion actually is quite a substantial amount for the near term. In the long term, that inflation rate will go down, but in the near term, that's very scary to me. But these are the scenarios that I wanted to run through. And again, if I was up over, I would say even if I was up over 300%, I would lower the bar that much. A lot of Dogecoin guys are way over 500% up. So they might be 10x. Some of them might even be 20x up, maybe even more than that. If I was in a position where I would lower the bar all the way down to 300%, if this is me, what I would be doing with my personal position, not to be taken as financial advice, just my opinion. If I was up just 300%, I would sell half and I would let the other half ride. If I was in that position, I wouldn't sell all of it. I would definitely let the other half ride. And that's somebody that doesn't really like Dogecoin. And that's putting it lightly. I would let the other half ride through SNL, but I would sell half, make sure that my half that was riding wasn't in Robinhood. I'd make sure that was in a hard wallet and I actually owned the Dogecoin. And then I would take the other half and take my original investment out and put the rest into Bitcoin or Ethereum. That's what I would do in that scenario. I hope that helps you in some way. I hope this information isn't taken in a negative way, because I genuinely would let the other half ride if I was in that position. And I do know the other thing that I'm not tuned into is I'm trying to put myself back into my mindset when I had like $1,000 to my name, when I was just literally like living out of my car, just not in a good place in life. And I remember that it's making 10% on $1 million is, you know, you're making $100,000 if you're making 10% on $1 million. But if you're making 10% on 1,000, that's not going to change your life. You know, if you turned 1,000 into 10,000 though with Dogecoin, you took a gamble and the gamble paid off. And so that those types of events, taking those types of risks, is what it takes in a way to build that original nest egg, to get that first little chunk of cash together for whatever it is that your next move is. But if I was like a Dogecoin guy that, you know, say I had 10 grand to my name, I went all in on Dogecoin, and now I have 100 grand. I think ahead of that SNL event, I would feel foolish if I didn't sell half of it, take 50 grand, and then put that into building my own business, put that into, you know, things that I can't lose. And that's what Graham Stephan and Andre Jank, I'm sure a lot of the people in this live feed have seen that video. That's what they were trying to get across. But where I would differ from Graham Stephan is I like risk. I'm a bit of a gambler myself. I've been all in my entire net worth in silver multiple times in my life. It kind of feels that way right now. But I have no dollars. I don't hold dollars. I only hold silver, platinum, palladium, Bitcoin, gold, collectibles. These are the types of things I have my money in. So I am a big risk taker when it comes to these things. Where I would differ from what Graham Stephan said earlier is I would say keep half. I'd say ride with half through the SNL thing. It could work out. You know, but I would feel foolish if I didn't move that other half and put it into something safe. Now, how does this go into Bitcoin? I know the title says this is going to skyrocket Bitcoin. I think that there is a large amount of people that just got introduced to cryptocurrency through Dogecoin. And what I'm begging of you, if you just got put into the crypto world in Dogecoin and now you've got a nice chunk of money to put into something from your Dogecoin investment, learn about the caps, learn about what an asset is versus a currency, learn about these things. You know, in the very beginning of a currency, yeah, you can make a lot of money. But if your goal is to be a currency, how many times have you held $1 and hoped that it was going to be 2 the next day? How many times did that happen with a currency? Once it finally levels out, your goal in a way is I'm just kind of confused on why the goal is to be a currency. I like Bitcoin because I want to have the little bartering chips of a fiat currency. These are these little bartering fake money chips, in my opinion. But I want to be able to store my money in an actual asset that is finite and limited. I don't need access to this at all the time. I only want to be able to move it around, to get a loan against it, to move the large quantity of it from time to time. I'm not looking to use Bitcoin as a currency. That's where I'm storing my capital. That's where I'm storing my wealth, because I know that nobody can inflate it. Nobody can mess with it. That's what's so big about Bitcoin. There's so many different things on why I like Bitcoin more, but I think the reason Dogecoin could skyrocket Bitcoin is more and more people are going to learn about Dogecoin and go, oh, okay, I made a lot of money on Dogecoin. I'm comfortable leaving half riding on Dogecoin, but now I actually am interested in Ethereum. I think the idea of programmable money, look at the technology behind this. You know, even these other ones like Monero, there's a big privacy aspect to Monero and all these different other altcoins that I'm learning about myself. But when you learn about Bitcoin and you realize that you go, oh, wait, if I get, a fractional amount of Bitcoin, it doesn't matter about the market caps. And I also feel that Dogecoin is kind of abusing the same principles that Tesla abused and Apple abused, and now Amazon is talking about abusing it, and that's a stock split. When you lower the price of something, you psychologically trick a uninformed investor that it's a better value. It's not. So just because Tesla did a 5-to-1 stock split doesn't change the valuation of the company. It just changed the price of the stock and the amount of shares issued. They just diluted the shares so that it dropped the stock price. The market cap is still the same. So even though Dogecoin, you might say to yourself, well, it's only 70 cents. It's only 70 cents. You have to look at it and go, no, it's 93 billion. It's 93 billion. And of that 93 billion, 30 some odd billion of it is being held by none other than Robinhood, the company that royally took advantage of the retail crowd with the GameStop and the AMC situation. Very scary. Very scary. And there's a reason why I think Coinbase isn't allowing Dogecoin on it. I would think it would be a brilliant marketing strategy. They're trying to do good marketing moves right now. They just had their IPO. The stock's not doing too well. I might have missed Dogecoin, but I got that on point. I thought that stock was going to be a bad buy and Bitcoin was going to outperform it. It'd be better to buy Bitcoin than to buy Coinbase stock, and it's wildly overvalued. But you would think that Coinbase would want to jump on this bandwagon with everybody. Like, they're letting their competitor Robinhood get all of this hype around the company. Why are they not jumping in? Not only are they not jumping in, but if you go check what Dogecoin is on Coinbase, they kind of make a mockery of it. They say this was created as a joke. It's not supported by us. I mean, they kind of go out of their way to make a mockery of Dogecoin. Why do they do that at Coinbase? You would think that the marketing move would be great. If I was in charge of Coinbase, I mean, you had all this whole Doge crowd looking to buy. I mean, you would have all this profit there sitting in Coinbase that then you could move that and have them trading in your platform. And that's where they make their money, is from the fees on the trading. So why would they not want to capture $35 billion worth of assets? Well, there's 93 billion of it out there. Why would they not want to capture 93 billion worth of Dogecoin, or at least, get a third like Robinhood did? That doesn't make too much sense to me, because that puts the money in their ecosystem. But they're allowing Robinhood to do this. Some food for thoughts. I mean, that's how I genuinely feel about it. But let's get to some comments in here. I kind of just wanted to drop some information. Dennis D, I appreciate that, man. He says, I'm concerned about the systematic risk of Doge. Is Doge for the long run? If not, it undermines the great projects that aim to build real utility. And that's really where I was coming from, and a lot of people in the cryptocurrency crowd. It's not that they're like opposed to the Doge. I guess maybe in a way, it's not like trying to be a mean or negative person. It's just that it really, the crypto space has so much potential to change the world, like in a very, very big way. So when there's a coin out there that's kind of making a mockery of it and going, oh, we're a joke, but we're going to take over everything because we're the joke coin, and it's like the idea is just, it's wild. But the thing is, it worked, it made people not take it serious so that they took it serious. And then it got to this level, and props to them for that. But I mean, really look into, if you've made a lot of money in Doge, look into the details, look into the fundamentals, learn how to analyze these cryptocurrencies, look at their market cap, look at how many coins are distributed, look at all of these things. Don't just blindly trust Robinhood with your coins. And what's wild to me is this Dogecoin millionaire guy, he's trusting Robinhood. He's trusting Robinhood with $3 million of Dogecoin after what they did with GameStop. I'm like, no, what are you doing? Like, take those out of Robinhood, at least if you want to let a whole $3 million ride through an SNL skit in hopes that Elon Musk wears a Dogecoin shirt. I mean, I don't see what it is that he could do that's really going to change a $93 billion cap in that dramatic of a way that, I mean, let's say it goes up 20%. You're risking $3 million over making another 20%. $1 million is life-changing money. 2 million is life-changing money. Going from 2 million to 3 million or 1 million to 3 million doesn't change your quality of life. I've always got asked that question, and I've always thought about that question. And I go, the classic question, does money buy happiness? For this individual, he says 10 million is his number where he drops out. So he's not diamond hands. He's 10 million is what he says. Once it's 10 million, I'm out of Dogecoin. I'm selling it. I'm buying a house. But does money buy happiness? The way that I've always said it is I say yes, but only at the first stage. I think after you get to having 5,000, 10,000 a month, like in just consistent money coming in, you can't really have a better quality of life per se. I mean, you can have a yacht, you can have a fancy car, but you're eating high quality food, you have a nice place to live, you got a good car to drive, you're paying all your bills. At 5 to 10,000, money buys happiness. After that level, money doesn't buy happiness anymore. So when you're talking about risking 3 million to make 3.5 or 4 million, or say even 5, that's just, to me, that's not using too much logic. It's really not, because 1 million is life-changing money. If you make 10% a year on 1 million, you're making 100 grand a year. If you know how to make just a measly 10% a year, and I know some people think that it's really not that hard to find something to make 10% a year on. You're making 100 grand a year on 1 million, and this guy has 3 million and he's letting it ride on hopes to make it to 4 or 5. It's so sketchy to me. And again, I think money buys happiness in that 5 to 10,000 a month bracket, because there's nothing that's happy about not being able to, have a nice place to live, take a shower, have good food. I know this from firsthand experience. So that's how I that whole money doesn't buy happiness thing, I don't think that's true. I think money buys happiness in a small quantity, like that 5, 10,000 a month range. If once you get to that level, and I wouldn't even say it's 1 million to be happy. It's just that if you have consistently found a way to make 5, 10,000 a month, that should be the goal. Not to be a millionaire, but to figure out how you get yourself to that level of capital, because that's where money buys happiness. After that, you're just being greedy. And greed is good, as they would say with that, Wall Street video. But if I was in that position, I would have sold half at 75 cents. Way ahead of that event is when I would have done it. That's how I feel about it. Thomas Kishman II, he says, Rob, I love your videos. Great work. Any advice on how to start selling my own silver as a business? Could you do a video on that? If not, it's cool, Thomas. I really appreciate you bringing that up, Thomas. I would say, the first thing you'd want to do is just learn. Before you start a business, there's this saying, is it Link? I think it's Lincoln that said it. He said, if I had 7 hours, something along those lines. He said, or maybe if it's 8 hours, if I had 8 hours to chop down a tree, I'd spend the first 6 sharpening my axe. So don't go. My advice, if you're looking to start any business, whether it's a precious metals business like mine or whatever it might be, I would spend the first 6 hours, if I was looking, just to go back to that quote, I would sharpen my axe before I got running towards the tree. So many people, they go running at a tree and they hit it with a dull blade and they just overwork for 2 weeks, where they could have just sharpened their axe and they would have gotten it down within a few hours. So I would just say learn as much as you can. And you're doing that by being on YouTube, watching videos. That's how you're going to learn. I'd learn how to make an LLC. I'd learn how to structure a company. I would learn all of those things prior to that, try to come up with whatever the brand name would be, all these different things, and then structure it out, learn as much as you can, and then make your business model and move forward with it. That would be my best advice on that. But there's so many ways to make a business now. If that's why I'm saying, like, if I was this guy that made $3 million on Dogecoin, yeah, he could say he even got 3 million to 10 million. Your quality of life at 3 million is not going to change at 10 million. You're going to have a fancier house, you're going to have a fancier car, but you're not going to have a better quality of life per se. Good quality of life for me is having a nice bed to sleep in, a nice shower. Still to this day, from not having a hot shower, every time I take a hot shower, it's like, I can't believe I get to take a shower. So like that to me is like, that's something that's can help your life. But I wouldn't risk that. I wouldn't take that gamble to try to turn 3 million into 5 or 10 million. I would be like, I won, I'm selling. But I would be different than Graham. I would, in that position, I would sell. And this is a big risk. Taking a $1.5 million risk is a big risk. I would keep the other half on the line. It's crazy for me to say that because I've been so opposed to Doge. But if I was up that much, if I put 180,000 and it turned to 3 million, I would immediately sell half and then put the other half that I sold into Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then take my original investment out and start a business. Like, that's what I would do in that situation. I would start a business so that I can consistently make 20, 30 grand a month. And then that's the goal. What I would beg of investors and people trying to make a quick buck, because that really seems what the ultimate goal is. You know, everybody's all, oh, I'm going to be a millionaire off of this Doge and this is what's going to happen. I'm going to make all of this money. I would focus more on building a company that makes 10 grand a month. That puts your quality of life like to the top tier. Focusing on building a way to make a consistent 10 grand a month, you will be so strong in the world with that kind of money coming in. So I wouldn't set the bar so high. A lot of people do that. They set the bar, oh, I'm going to be a millionaire. You don't get to a million without good baby steps. And the best baby step, the best aim to be taken an aim at is how do I make 10 grand a month consistently? You sleep so much better at night knowing that you have a consistent income coming in from a business that you've built or whatever it might be to get yourself to that consistency. But when you YOLO gamble on something and that's your goal, that's your only means of a big income, it's like get that first initial nest egg together however you can. And I've done a lot of risky things to get my first original nest egg together of 10, 20, 30 grand, whatever that nest egg amount might be. But once you do get there, once you do get that nest egg together, it feels so much better to be building a business with that, to be building something real with it that you can actually enjoy putting your mind at. You know, it's like what skill set does it take to hold Bitcoin, or skill set does it take to hold Dogecoin? It doesn't. But so you don't get to be passionate about something. You don't get to like really build your baby of a company in a way. Or build whatever it is. If you're an artist, maybe it's drawing or painting or whatever it might be. But if you're sitting there just watching your phone all the time, you're not building anything, so it can make you very depressed. You're only focusing on that one thing. But I'm getting into a different side topic here, but I'm going through my my comments here. A Benny, the Max Journey says, "Hey Rob, love your videos. I'm having a 3." Oh, I missed that one, Benny. I missed that one. I can't say that on the air, but that's pretty hilarious. He's having some fun in Bali is what he says, Benny. I'm sure a lot of people saw that. That's hilarious. I'm going to try to get some more comments here. I was just scrolling up. I don't like missing the super chats. I think I'm back to the live questions here. But I'm to the Dogecoin guys in the crowd and to the Dogecoin guys in here. You know, I'm a Bitcoin maximalist. I'm big on precious metals. Let's talk about it. You know, let's talk about it. I want to hear what your perspective is on this event. Do you hear any of the things that I'm saying about not trusting Robinhood with this kind of quantity of Dogecoin, selling half possibly before that, and then putting it into an actual asset versus a currency? Those kinds of things. I mean, what do you guys think of that? Mr. T says, you've really come full circle, Mr. T, because you're super anti-crypto, my friend. And then now he's like, Doge made me rich. Sultan makes me happy. Life is good. Well, I love you too, Mr. T. Appreciate you being here, man. Aaron Steck says, Doge showed the world how effed our financial system is. Bitcoin would have went to 100K and nobody would have questioned it. I feel like we've always felt that way about Bitcoin. You know, it's like Doge has taken on the same storyline of early days of Bitcoin. I mean, let's not forget Bitcoin started at pennies too. You know, it did, but it had only 21 million that could be made. It was designed in a certain way. I mean, let's not forget that. I mean, Bitcoin was once under 70 cents as well. And it once was that same storyline. So you got to go back. I mean, in today's day and age, you might be considering it the new storyline of it. But I mean, that's the same storyline as Bitcoin. But it's a good point. It's a good point. And I mean, I would be, it's safe to say that the dollar is a meme stock or a meme, the dollar itself. I mean, like the Federal Reserve's dollar, I think that is like a meme, cryptocurrency in a way. It's like it really is. It's 90% digital or 92% digital or whatever it is at this point, the dollar. So it already is technically a crypto in a way. It's a digital currency. It's not on any blockchain of any way, and it's already a joke. So I mean, it's pretty easy to compete with the dollar. So I mean, that's how I feel about it. Vape King says, yes, I'm no fan of Robinhood. Robinhood is probably the biggest whale. I mean, they would have to be the biggest whale. I mean, they're one of the biggest whales at least. So I would want to look into detail. Maybe some people in the live stream know this, but from what I'm told, 40% roughly of Dogecoin is held by the top, 1% of the wallets. Does that include Robinhood though? Does that mean 70%, like 40% is the whales, and then you got another 30% that's another whale that's Robinhood? So 70% of it is held by the top 1% of wallets? Because you remember, Robinhood is technically one wallet, right? They're holding all this Dogecoin. They're holding $35 billion roughly in Dogecoin. 35 billion of Dogecoin is what Robinhood is being trusted with. And didn't they say they had this big problem with GameStop over like 2 billion? It was over like 2 billion. And they're trusting them with over 30 billion. What happened last time? If they could literally do the same thing where they say this is a similar event, this is actually way bigger than GameStop. GameStop was not at 100 billion. At least I'm pretty sure GameStop wasn't at 100 billion. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think GameStop ever got to this level. This is at 93 billion Dogecoin right now. That's heavy. That's almost a tenth of Bitcoin. That's heavy. It's no joke at this point. It's the real deal right now. So that's a lot of money to be trusting on Robinhood. I can tell you this much. They don't have that much Bitcoin on it. They don't have nearly that much Bitcoin in it. You know, I don't, from a percentage-wise perspective of the actual market cap of the coin, they don't have anything near a third of the Bitcoin. So that's very scary to me. But I mean, like the best thing you can do from my perspective, I could say I was wrong about Dogecoin from a price perspective. I was anti-Dogecoin at like 8 cents. You know, I thought it was wrong that Elon Musk was pumping Dogecoin before the Super Bowl, then didn't even do a Super Bowl ad, and didn't do anything about it except buy Bitcoin instead publicly. It was like a really big insult, I thought. You know, I thought he was taking advantage of people, so I was really passionate about that. But now he's going for this SNL situation. What is the best case scenario? That's what I would ask myself. I always like to do that. It's like, what is the best possible case scenario here that he could do? Wear a Dogecoin shirt, say to the moon, like, what is the best case scenario? Does he like just scream from the top of his lungs, I have a third of all Dogecoin and I'm never selling? You know, like, what is the best possible case? I mean, is that the best case scenario? I don't know, because it seems to me like a buy the rumor, sell the news. It really does. And I would be selling half as soon as I possibly could. That's what I would be doing if I was up that much money. And that's not selling all of it. And that's where I differed from Graham Stephan. He said to sell all of it to the guy. He goes, I'd sell the whole 3 million right now. Please sell the whole 3 million right now. I would keep 1.5 million or at least 1 million of it and let it ride. Just for the gamble of it. I made that much money on it. I'd let it ride. For the community probably, because it made me so much money that I would feel guilty selling all of it. So I would probably sell half of it and let the other half ride if I was in this guy's position. But to say that I'm diamond handing my entire life savings, life-changing money that I could build any business of my heart's desire, buy a beautiful place to live, you know, or rent a place for the rest of my life, and I'm going to gamble on that on the hope that Elon Musk is wearing a certain type of t-shirt or saying a certain thing. I mean, that's heavy. That's heavy to think that. I mean, I would for sure let a large quantity of it ride, but I wouldn't throw life-changing money into a gamble like that. That's heavy. I mean, Marcos, I'm with you, but the thing is, if you've made 3, he's made 3 million, this guy. He's made 3 million. So, I mean, I'm not going to throw 1.5 mil on any type of gamble like that. You know, that's just me. I'm not throwing that at any type of, you know, crypto at any kind, not Bitcoin, not any of them. So I'm not like that myself, but you know, I personally couldn't do that. But I want to hear, like, from the Dogecoin crowd, I'm not coming from a negative place here. I'm like I want to be constructively critical here. And I hope that you get that vibe from this video. I'm not trying to beat up Dogecoin. I'm not trying to be, you know, adamant against it like I was in the beginning, because I thought it was wrong that Elon Musk didn't do the Super Bowl ad and then he went and bought Bitcoin. I thought that was wrong. I doubled down on it. That's when I was very opposed to Dogecoin. But now he's talking about this in a very different perspective. You know, Mr. T, I'm really happy for you, man. I'm really happy for you, man. He's done. I remember you were totally opposed to crypto, and now you went in big. But hang on, I got a much wow from Badger from Texas. But honestly, from the Dogecoiners out there, let's talk about it. I want to hear what your guys' perspective on it. What's best case scenario for Elon Musk? Like, what's the absolute best case scenario? Let's talk about it. Vape King says, Rob, do you hold any Doge? I have 0 Doge. I've never had any Doge. I have none, period. I'm talking about it if I did. what I would be doing right now. I have a very good amount of Bitcoin that I've gotten. The thing is, like, people are talking about an 8x, 10x gain. It's like, I did that about that in Bitcoin. So it's like I'm big on Bitcoin, but I respect a 10-bagger gain on Dogecoin. It's like, it's hard. How do you not respect that? They've done extremely well in a way shorter period of time than it took for me to 10x my money in Bitcoin. It took a long time for that to happen in Bitcoin, not nearly 3 weeks to a month and a half. It's like they really did well. But I want to hear that perspective. Like, what's best case scenario from for this? Hang on. Best case scenario is Elon buys a Doge dog and names it on the air. I mean, that'd be cute. It would be cool. I think that would be rad if he brought a Doge up there and he like had a Dogecoin shirt and he put to the moon or something. I mean, like, but how much? I mean, we're not talking about 1 billion anymore. When you're talking about a $93 billion cap, you're talking about life-changing money for a lot of wallets out there. Like, this is real life-changing money for people. And to move a $93 billion needle, that's a heavy weight here to push, guys. It's a heavy weight to push. It's comedy at $1 billion. At $1 billion, you can squeeze $1 billion up easily. But at $100 billion, like, how are you going to push that to 200, 300 billion? Like, let's be honest here. To make that move, to get that needle to move 5x, 10x again, you're talking about it going to $1 trillion cap. It's like, that's a stretch right there. It's a stretch there to put this, Hang on, let's go through a couple. We're going to a Doge dog. So that's best case scenario. There's got to be some better. I mean, my position on the best case scenario, like, what would Elon Musk do to really get the market cap to move like 100 billion? I mean, gotta remember, I mean, this is a bigger market cap than I think GM. I think GM doesn't even have a 93 billion cap. I mean, like, all there's huge companies out there that do not have a $93 billion market cap. So to get the needle to move that much, like to get it to move $100 billion, let's say, and think about this. I think it's a major, major stretch to say that you could get a 93 billion cap to jump to 200 billion, let's say. That's a stretch. That's a long jump. I mean, it's possible, but that's a long jump on an SNL skit. But to get that to happen, to get like a full double, and keep in mind, this guy's risking $3 million on the possible potential of it going up 50% or 100%, let's say. And that's hard to do, even that. I mean, he would have to say something along the lines of, I deployed 50 Starlinks and they all are using Dogecoin. And we are buying Dogecoin at Tesla to the tune of $1 billion worth of Dogecoin, and we are putting those Dogecoin in our own Starlink. I mean, if you guys want to let my imagination flow, I'll really throw some crazy ideas out there. But that would be what it would take to get this to jump that level. And is that in the realm of possibilities of this simulation of life? Yeah, it's in the realm of possibilities. But it would have to be something along those lines. Like, you make a joke about Dogecoin being in your satellites, and then the next day you have an announcement that Dogecoin is in your satellites, and you made a deal with Robinhood that they put the 30% supply in your satellites in the sky, and nobody can touch the Dogecoin, and now it's a deal between Robinhood and Tesla or whatever it is. Now Tesla's buying Dogecoin and they're seeing it. Like, that would be what it would take in my mind. Not just a Dogecoin shirt, not bringing a Dogecoin dog on the air, not that kind of thing. Like, it would have to be a very big type announcement. That's what I would see to make the needle move. Like, this guy's saying his 3 million is going to go to 10 million, and that's what he's holding out for, and he wants to sell. So the thing is, if you are holding out with the idea that you're going to sell in the future, I mean, that scenario, it multiplies. So it's like, how many people are holding this to inevitably sell and take a big profit? I mean, it just seems like a very risky play. And say he does just make a funny joke and only wears a t-shirt, that's going to be a major sell the news type event. That's going to be a major sell the news type event if he just does some joke type thing. And I mean, he's done that so many times in the past where he's like hyped up an announcement, and then the announcement wasn't really anything big, or whatever it is. I was so big on those short-term options, and I made and lost a fortune on those on Tesla stock. And so I know Elon and his kind of fluff situation he does for a while. But we're talking, I mean, we're talking about moving $100 billion needle here, guys. So, I mean, I'm talking about this from a real perspective, and I'm throwing out scenarios that really would move the needle. Like if he said that my satellites hold Dogecoin and we're buying Dogecoin with Tesla, like these kinds of things could happen, and that would be able to move it. I know it's like, that's what left side story. I'm being like kind of sarcastic. Like I'm being realistic, but I'm being sarcastic. I'm saying like, is this what he's going to do? I highly doubt it, but that's what it would take. That's what I mean. That's how I feel about it. But I want to hear from you guys. What do you guys have to say? I've been rambling. I wanted to do a quick video and it's already almost an hour now. And how's the quality, by the way? I've been tinkering with the OBS thing here and figuring out the right bit rate and all that stuff. I changed the bit rate to be a lot higher on this video, and I changed a few things in the OBS, spent a few hours tinkering around and learning more about streaming. So I hope the streaming and the quality of the sound and everything is better. Let's see. Let's get to some of these comments here. It's nice to have this little mouse too, by the way. I'm trying to do better with the live stream thing. Like this should be my best quality live stream. I've put a lot of effort into making it better. Elon should short Doge and tweet that Dogecoin. I mean, then he would go to jail. I mean, that's jail type stuff. And he's tested them in the past. I mean, Elon Musk is a cool dude. I mean, it's very hard to not like Elon Musk. It's extremely hard to not like the guy. He's a true genius. He's got crazy ideas. He actually implements those real ideas in the world. I mean, if there was one guy to support your coin, I mean, he's the guy. You know, it's very hard to Hey, I'm happy with you, John. I'm happy with you. I'm not trying to bash Dogecoin. I'm just saying what I would do in this position. I mean, I even said that I'd keep half on the line if I was in it, but I'm not. I have no Dogecoin. But if I was that $3 million guy, just saying I would let half ride. I wouldn't be like Graham Stephan and say sell all of it. I'd say I'd let half ride. If anything, even if it went to zero, I feel obligated to lose that other half if they made me that much money. If the community made me that much money, I would just let it ride based on that too. You know, it's like not only to see the upside in it, but also that I feel like I'd owe it to the community that helped me make $3 million, you know, or take off 1.5 million off the table. But inevitably, I think that it ends up helping Bitcoin. You know, I really think that this Dogecoin situation here, say you make a lot of money on Dogecoin, say Dogecoin even succeeds, you know, to the wildest imaginations of the people in Dogecoin, and Dogecoin goes to, say, a $500 billion cap. I know that's 500 billion that's a serious valuation on this, but let's say it goes up 500 to 500 billion. That would be a 5x return from here. So just remember to get this to go to like $5, you're talking about it going to $500 billion, $600 billion and being that's a lot of needle to move. That's a big weight to move. But say that happened. Those people that are that big in the profit would want to save their profit. And it's already talking the Dogecoin community. From all the videos, I've been watching nonstop Dogecoin videos. As you can tell, I'm definitely trying to figure out how I was so wrong about the price on Dogecoin. So you end up watching a lot of content, trying to learn more about it when you've been wrong about something. And so the more I research it, the situation in the Doge community is they're actually bringing up, oh, well, should Dogecoin be a hard cap? You know, some people say it should be a hard cap. Some people agree with the inflation rate of Dogecoin, but they do understand that a hard cap is an actual asset. When you have a hard cap and you have a smaller amount of coins, that's when you're more so a digital gold, which Bitcoin is. And it's designed in that way. You know, they're bringing up a hard cap in the Dogecoin community. I think that a lot of the Dogecoin crowd, once they jumped in Dogecoin, made a big profit, they're going to research just how interesting Bitcoin really is and how rare it is to actually own a whole Bitcoin. And by the way, you can own fractional amounts of Bitcoin, just in case you didn't know out there, because they play that mind game with us. There's only 21 million Bitcoin out there, but there's 130 billion Dogecoin. That's the reason why it's 70 cents and a Bitcoin is almost 60 grand. There's a reason for that. It's because there's far less Bitcoin. Bitcoin could be a penny, but that just means they distribute hundreds of billions of Bitcoin out there instead of only 21 million. And it just goes back to the argument of stock splits and all of that. But let's say it goes to that level. I think Dogecoin crowd, the Dogecoin crowd ends up wanting to move their profits into more cryptocurrencies. I think the top on the list would be Bitcoin. They'd go, actually, you know, it seems like I want to keep a lot of my Doge, but maybe I'm going to sell half after making this much money, and I want to put it into a hard cap asset crypto. Maybe I don't want to hold all of my money in a currency because at some point a currency is supposed to level out. Like literally the actual definition of a currency is when you trade a currency, it's supposed to create a non-taxable event. So when I give you $10, the only thing I owe is sales tax. I didn't hold $10 that is now valued at $20 and I'm buying it and declaring a profit. That's not a currency. So all the people that are in the Dogecoin crowd calling it a currency, that's not true. If you trade your Dogecoin, if you go buy something with your Dogecoin, you have now created a taxable event. Now you could be down, like say you bought it 75 cents and now it's 70 cents. You know, you could be down on your Dogecoin, but then you could actually have a write-off or a capital loss. But you're talking about a capital gain or a capital loss here. And I'm just talking from more of a business perspective. It's not a currency and it never will be unless it gets widely adopted and there's no regulation. But as of right now, it's defined as something that creates a taxable event if you go buy something with it. So there is that. Yeah, and that's pretty much all the things I wanted to talk about. I mean, I genuinely think that it's, if anything, it draws way more eyeballs. And I guess the whole crypto community, it's the people that take crypto very serious, you know, like the Michael Saylors and all those guys, they look at Dogecoin as like making a mockery of something that they truly love, like that they're very passionate about changing the world with. And so it's hard to embrace a coin that was made to be making a mockery of something that you think is so beautiful and elegant. But from a perspective of, you know, just thinking about what if it succeeds, I think to myself, it could be a real big benefit. Like I've always said, Bitcoin is a benefit to silver because it draws eyeballs to just how crazy the actual monetary system is. All the Dogecoin crowd, all the Bitcoin crowd, all the silver crowd, all the gold crowd, every single one of them combined all know the same thing, and that's that the dollar is the ultimate meme coin. The dollar is the ultimate meme coin. Not Dogecoin, not Bitcoin, not silver, not gold. The ultimate joke is the dollar and Jerome Powell. That's the ultimate joke. That's how I feel about it. But that's the other thing too, is Jerome Powell's classifying Bitcoin as a digital gold. And if you've heard him talk about it in recent interviews or recent talks that he did, he basically said, oh, it's just a digital gold. It's not a big deal. We're not really looking at it. But if you're trying to be a currency, they're going to be looking at that heavy. They're going to be looking at that heavy. So that's why I'm saying, like, this might be your opportunity in the Dogecoin world. And I'm not saying this in a way where it's like dump your Dogecoin. I'm saying it's an opportunity to take profit. There's nothing wrong in taking a profit. And then if you roll that profit into Bitcoin, you roll that profit into Ethereum. I'm not even really in Ethereum or Litecoin or any of those things. But if you take that profit and roll it into one of the other cryptocurrencies and then take your original investment off the table, I think it's a good opportunity to do that and then let the other half ride. That's just my take on it. That's what I would be doing. Everybody's asking like that, but the thing is, like, ask yourself this question. So everybody's saying the same thing. Please say how high you think Doge could go. That to me says it alone. Like that to me is like the problem. Everybody's going, okay, well, how high can it go? Well, okay, I'm going to risk, you know, this much amount because I think it can get to $3. You know, I think it can go to $3. You know, to get to $3, you're talking about it jumping up $300 billion on a market cap. I mean, moving $300 billion a weight is that's a lot of money, guys. So, I mean, the maximum, I just don't know how that much money, you need real institutional buying. How did, you know, the scary part is the retail that does know how to accumulate, like via the same GameStop, Reddit type situation, they're trusting Robinhood again, that is giving this information out to the bigger whales. Like, oh, well, we hold this much Dogecoin. Well, what do you want us to do? Oh, should we only let them sell? And then you guys dump your positions? Like, think about how scary of a situation that is. I just said best case scenario, right? Best case scenario is Elon Musk says Dogecoin's in my satellites and Tesla's buying Dogecoin. I think we can all agree on that. Like, that's the best possible case scenario. He says a joke about Dogecoin being in his satellites. Tesla buys a bunch of Dogecoin or something, or he announces how much Dogecoin he holds or whatever it might be. That's best case scenario. Worst case scenario is there's a sell the news event. The whales take advantage of the opportunity with the 30% of Dogecoin locked up in Robinhood to dump the position of theirs while your Dogecoins are sitting there being trusted by Vladimir, the same guy who literally only allowed people in GameStop to sell and let everybody lose their money while all you could do is sell. 30% of it is being trusted with them with a 40% whale position that is looking to take billions of dollars off the table. Life, like not even life-changing money, like just that's FU money in a way, you know, like that's a whole different category of money where they're at these whales. So you have a scenario where 30% is being trusted with Robinhood. You got whales out there with 40%, and it could be a sell the news event. The whales dump. This is worst case scenario. Whales dump. 30% is held in Robinhood. Everybody runs to either buy to help it go up, but the problem is they only allow you to sell at Robinhood. Again, like the same situation on GameStop. Like that would be a scary scenario. If they don't allow the retail crowd to buy, this is exactly what they did to GameStop. They shut that off and said, oh, there's an overload again, guys. And last time it only took $2 billion to get Robinhood to do an overload. We're talking about a 30 billion position. This could really do that easily. So you're talking about that. They could go, oh, we're overloaded. And I think they already have done this, right? I think they already did this with the crypto recently. So they could do that. Whales dump their positions. And then you're really in a bad situation where they're only allowing you to sell. I mean, that could really cause a panic here. I don't know. That's how I feel. I mean, that's why I'm saying, like, if I was up 3 mil like that guy, I'd feel real foolish risking it. I mean, he could be right. He could be right and get it to 10 million. But the difference between like your quality of life on that kind of a risk is like you're risking having starting at the original, you know, drawing board, or taking a bit off the table and still having the upside while changing your life forever. I mean, not a gamble that I would take personally, but that's how I feel about it. But I just wanted to share this message because as I heard that, as I've been watching Dogecoin, you know, videos, I wanted to drop some information for you guys on what I've learned about Doge. I don't want to make this video for me to be like, oh, Doge is a joke. It's you guys, you know, are not with the real crypto movement. I'm not going to make that kind of video. I hope that if you're in the Dogecoin crowd, that you actually found value in this video. I really do. And if there's some people in the live feed in here, I hope that there was people that are in Doge that, you know, that maybe there's some people in this live feed or people that watch this video after we drop this live feed that go, geez, I didn't know Robinhood was being trusted with that much and the whales had that big of a position. This really seems scary. I didn't realize that the whole Super Bowl thing was Elon Musk who didn't go through with that and then bought Bitcoin instead when we trusted him with the Super Bowl thing last time. It's like a very similar type thing. I hope that there's some information out there that does help you and you're not taking this from a bad place. You know, I just wanted to drop actual information in this video. I didn't want to make a drama video or why it's not a good idea or whatever. I just wanted to say actual stats, and I hope it did help you in some way. If it did help you, I'd really appreciate you smashing the like button because maybe this information can help more people in the crypto space. You know, but again, to summarize, if I was up even 300%, I would sell half, let the other half ride, and I would put the other half. I'd take my original investment off the table, and then I would put, you know, the profit into Bitcoin and Ethereum. That's what I would do personally, but I would let the other half ride. So that might be where I differ from a lot of people. If I was up that much money, I would let the other half ride and I would just keep it in the community on that. But let's go through some comments. I'll go through some more comments here before we sign off. I'm at 1 hour and 7 minutes. It's a pretty long video. I'm surprised there's this many people up this late at night, guys. 4 Nights Boxing says that's the plan. I'm glad that I make because there's Dogecoin guys in this crowd. You know, I'm glad I make some sense with it. I don't want to just be someone that's bashing it. The Spadologist, he says, and you are not him. It's his, yeah, it is his money. I'm just saying what I would do. I mean, he can hold it as much as he wants. I'm saying that I'm similar to Graham Stephan and Andre Jink. You know, I'm similar, but at the same time, I am saying that my difference is I would let the other half ride. I mean, that's what I would do in that position. I mean, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money on the line. Thomas Anonymous is he's really against Doge. I mean, there's a reason. The reason is I'm into something with a strategy. Like, why am I so big on silver? I'm big on silver because I know we're going towards green energy, and green energy uses a lot of silver. Silver is being eaten up. The demand is there for silver while it's a monetary metal, while we're going through hyperinflation. I mean, that's why I'm in silver. I have a thesis in play with silver. I'm big on it for that reason. Why am I in Bitcoin? My strategy on Bitcoin is to never sell it. That's my real, like, if there was diamond hands on something, I got real diamond hands on Bitcoin. Bitcoin, you know, I've made a very sizable amount of, I'm not going to say exactly how much. I've made a good amount of money on Bitcoin. I'm not planning to sell that anytime ever. Bitcoin is being held in my position. And if I do ever need capital, which I don't plan to because I'm still building my business with my other money, but if I do need capital, I would get a loan against my Bitcoin. And I wouldn't even sell my Bitcoin. I'd get a 7-8% loan against my Bitcoin annually because I think it will continue at that rate of beating 10% a year at least. So I would get free money against it and just not sell my Bitcoin. If I ever needed capital, I'd take maybe even a 20% position of my Bitcoin and get a loan against 20% of it and let the other 80% sit in a wallet. But that's my strategy on Bitcoin and why I'm playing it that way. I don't see anybody giving loans against Dogecoin. There's a reason for that. Ask yourself that. Is there BlockFi, you know, giving a loan against Dogecoin like they're doing with Bitcoin? Are they giving an interest rate against the Dogecoin? Because they are taking a big risk, and they're the ones with the analysts that are looking at the volatility there. My play with Bitcoin is to never sell it, and I could actually get cash against my Bitcoin. That's the ultimate play here. That's when you learn, like if you read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I'm sure a lot of people in the live feed have read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It's a great book from Robert Kiyosaki, and he basically talks about, you know, leveraging your assets. The second you sell your asset, like when he sells his $3 million, he's declaring a $2.8 million gain. So I'm just going to talk in like from more of a business perspective. He's declaring a $2.8 million gain. He's going to have to pay capital gains on that because I believe it's less than a year. So he's probably going to be taxed at roughly 40%. So 40% is going to be taken immediately off the table. So he doesn't have $3 million. If he sells $3 million, he's going to have to take off the table, literally take off the table 1.4 million of that. And he's only left with 1.6 million. Think about that for a second. That's what a lot of people don't realize. When you get a job, for example, they trick all of us and they go, oh, I got $100,000 a year job. No, you didn't. No, you didn't, because your checks get the W-2 you get paid in immediately gets taken out 30, 40%. So you really only make 60 grand a year or 70 grand a year in real money. And then where do you have to live? What's your expenses? All these different things are what I take into consideration. But the uber wealthy, they have a trick. And that's why they're very scared about the 1031 exchange being taken away. They're very scared about that. You look at, like, listen to Meet Kevin in that Ben Malla interview he just did. They're very nervous about the 1031 exchange being taken away because what do the uber rich people do? They take an asset, like say a real estate building, and they tie up all the capital in that asset so they don't have a non-taxable event. They then make money from renting to tenants, and then they take that cash flow and reinvest that cash flow so they don't even pay taxes on that. And then they reinvest that money and put it into more assets. If you can't use Dogecoin as an asset and you're considering it to be a currency, you're lining yourself up for a major taxable event at some point. Whereas with my Bitcoin position, I am not selling my Bitcoin. It is already considered an asset. There are already companies giving very fair loans against Bitcoin right now. So if I do want cash, I just give them my Bitcoin. They hold on to it and give me a loan against my Bitcoin. But I never sold it. I just got a loan against it. So I didn't declare a capital gain. Whereas this guy who made $3 million, if he does want to sell that, he just lost right off the top $1.4 million. And he only has $1.6 million that he gets to actually hold. Just some food for thought and how the game works. You know, this is stuff that they don't teach you in school, unfortunately. But that's how the rich get richer. The rich get richer because they tie their money in assets. So what does raising the tax rates do? Nothing. That's what's so funny about it. They talk about, oh, we're going to raise capital gains. The rich just won't sell their assets, and they'll tie up their money in more assets. Now, if you take away the 1031 exchange, that hurts them. That genuinely hurts the rich if they do take away the 1031 exchange. But that doesn't affect Bitcoin. Bitcoin, you would still be able to get a loan against it. So that's my whole thought process on it. That's all the things that I wanted to talk about. I hope that there's some good information in there for you. And that's rather than just only bash on Dogecoin, I wanted to explain why I'm bullish on Bitcoin. Because my thesis is I want to be able to use my capital that's tied up. If my Bitcoin's tied up, I can get a loan against my Bitcoin and I never have to sell it. Just remember that if you make, so say Dogecoin, that's something that it's a really good point right at the end of the video. Sometimes I forget to say things until the end, but I mean, say you make that huge 10x return, like this guy that made 3 million. I think that's way more than 10x actually. He put 180,000, this individual, and watch that video after. It was a great video. He's a really cool guy too. That's why I want that. Hopefully this video reaches him. I'm sure he's going to be up. He might be in this live stream right now. You know, the Dogecoin millionaire guy. If you're out there, I'd love to talk with you, man, because my thesis on it, I wish I could talk to you instead of Graham and Andre, because Graham and Andre were beating him up too hard. You know, he did really well. He saw ahead of the curve. He saw that it was going to get hyped by Elon Musk. He put his life savings on the line, turned it into 3 million. To tell a guy like that, sell your entire position, is not the right advice to tell him. The right advice would be sell half, take your initial investment off the table, start your own Dogecoin business, selling merch or whatever it might be, because you got a good name now, like do some sort of merch or whatever, and build your own company with that profit that you took off the line, and let the other half ride. You still got 1.5 million Dogecoin, bro. Take some of that money and change your life. You'll sleep well at night for once. I'm sure you're up right now looking at it every penny. I mean, it's probably fluctuating 50 grand. I remember the options trading days of mine. It's like, that doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good to be sitting there nervous, waiting for the market to open to see your account fluctuating, life-changing money every second. Doesn't feel good at all. Aaron, you should say that 5 more times. I think people didn't see it. You should probably put the same comment up there 5 more times, I think. Hang on, I think 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 would get me to see it. No, probably 6 I would read it. Maybe 6. Or you're only at 5 times. I think 6 would get me to read it. All right, hang on. All right, I'll read it. He says, if they pass this bill, silver and gold don't get capital gains taxed, and stock and crypto will crash overnight. Bitcoin is in the same league as an asset class, so it's considered an asset class. So it's actually something that's going to be changing very soon in the near future. And if they're talking about getting rid of the 1031 exchange, I would imagine that they're going to start. I mean, they're talking about a wealth tax. I mean, this is like, I don't want to get too far down the political realm, but I mean, it's getting pretty weird. We're losing what America stands for. I mean, America was never the place of like, hey, here's a place for free handouts. We'll make sure you will pay for all this stuff. We'll make sure that the citizens have to pay for all of this stuff, and we're just going to spend helicopter loads of money. That's not, America was not founded on that. The reason why, you know, we all are immigrants in America. That's the thing. Everyone's an immigrant in America, but they all came here to compete. America was a place of competition. And it's like, it's a beautiful thing, competition. It's the reason why we have YouTube. It's the reason why we have these live streams. Competition is what makes America so great. And when you take away the competition and you make everyone have to pay 60% tax levels, I mean, you're talking, like, let's say in California, you got a 40% level, and you're talking about raising the capital gains on that as well. And then you want to tax, additionally, the state tax gets taxed on top of it. So you're losing like 60% of for every $100 you make, you get to keep $40. I mean, it's a pretty bad deal here. And they're wanting to increase that? No, I'll tell you right now, before we end this live stream, I'll tell you right now how you could save the economy. And I'm no economist. I've said this in prior videos too. And it's just such an easy thing to think about. It's like they spent roughly $15 trillion in a year and a half, just dropping helicopter loads of money. And then at the end of the day, the citizens got like $5 grand of that each. You know, like they really didn't get a lot. You got the 1,200, altogether, all of these stimulus checks and everything, it's like 5-6 grand at most, or maybe even less than that. They diluted the dollar by roughly 40-50%, increased into the monetary supply. Instead, what I would have done, if this was me instead, and I wanted the economy to thrive after beating this whole terrible time that we've been in, if I was right now, I'd say, rather than printing more money, let's just not tax them for 5 years. Like, really think about that. When you actually, like, just like I try to analyze Dogecoin and tell you the exact amount of Dogecoin out there and the exact market cap of it, not that it's 70 cents, the fact that it's at a 93 billion market cap and it's pretty hard to move 93 billion. The actual stats of the tax system is they make roughly 3.5 trillion in tax revenue. In 2019, they took in 3.5 trillion in tax revenue, right? But they spent 15 trillion dropping helicopter loads of money. You could have essentially, instead of doing that, essentially, they could have just put that money in their own account and just said, all right, the citizens, they got to rebuild the economy. They're not going to have to pay taxes for 5 years. Imagine how much, if every person watching this video, if when you got a W-2 check and you make $5,000 or whatever, 10 grand, whatever it is, if they didn't take that money out of your W-2 and you got the whole, I know we all look at that. I remember when I was a waiter, I looked at all my checks. I go, social what? Social what? They took this. How much did they take out of my check? I thought I was supposed to make, like, why did they take that and that and that? It took so much of my money. Where did it, now I'm left with this. Like, how did they, I don't even get to do a write-off or something. They just took it out of me automatically. This isn't cool. I don't like this. You know, like that, what would be better is if you got the whole check. There wasn't any money taken out. That would be way better than a stimulus. That would rebuild the economy way faster. Just leave people alone. Get out of the way. Stop wasting money. Just leave people alone. You know, that's really, I'm a libertarian to the core. I truly believe that the best government is the one that governs least, and just leave people alone, you know? And what's scary about Doge is people are considering it to be a currency. Look, buying merch, buying Mavs t-shirts is not a currency. It's not. And what you don't understand is if you go buy something from somebody in Dogecoin, and you're up, say this $3 million guy, he created a capital gain. You don't just get to buy something with Dogecoin. And I can't just go buy something with Bitcoin. Now I could, what Dogecoin can't do, that I can do with my Bitcoin, I can get a loan against my Bitcoin and then use that loan to buy stuff completely tax-free. So that's how I can turn my Bitcoin into a currency. I can get a loan against it, and then I get the currency that I don't have to pay taxes on the currency. That's different. That's what Bitcoin is, both an asset and a currency in that way, because you can get a loan against it. But you can't do that with Dogecoin. You have to sell it. And selling it doesn't mean turning it into dollars. Selling Dogecoin, that when you buy a $20 hat with Dogecoin and you're up as much as you are, you actually bought a $35 hat because you have to pay a capital gain on that $20. So that's what you're setting yourself up for a really rough awakening when you realize that it is not a currency. You will create a taxable event when you spend your Dogecoin on whatever it is. Say you're up, say this guy wants to buy a $100,000 car with Dogecoin and he turned 10 grand into 100 grand. No, he bought a $160,000 car because he really has to pay a capital gain on the money that he used to buy that car. Dogecoin is not a currency. It is not recognized as a currency. They're going to have to pay a capital gain to the government. And that's something a lot of people are not understanding. And I hope that helps you in some way, because it's the truth. And sometimes the truth, you don't want to hear that. But honestly, I mean, that would be my strategy. If I was in charge of the Fed, if I was Powell, I'd be thinking to myself, dilute their dollar that they're paid in and rapidly dilute their currency, that their wages are the same or going down because the economy is suffering. So their wages are deflationary. They're losing money. They're not making the same amount of money. And I'm going to print 15 trillion to make it so that the little bit of money that they are making, just getting by as Americans suffering right now, the little bit of money they are making, their wages are going down or they're the same. I'm going to then on top of it dilute the dollar 15 trillion, add 50% to the dilution rate of it. And they're going to get paid in that same dollar when they're already suffering, you know? So technically you're getting 60 cents on the dollar because they inflated it by 40%. So you're getting paid less money, but while your wages are being the same because the dollar itself was diluted. What my strategy would be, instead of doing what Poof Powell did, which basically their strategy is kick the can down the road until the youth figure out and then realize they've been put in a really bad position. That's pretty much their thing, is hide the can and kick it down the road. That's pretty much the Poof Powell's and Janet Yellen's strategy. My strategy would be leave people alone for 3 years. Just go away. I can print 15. You mean guys, I can print 15 trillion out of thin air? And how much do we take in revenue every year? We take in 3 trillion, 3.5 trillion in revenue, Rob. I'd be like, but you want me to print 15 trillion when I only make 3 trillion a year from tax revenue. But you want me to 5x that. Just leave them alone. No, don't print more money. Just leave them alone. They don't owe any taxes. Leave them alone. Leave them alone for 3 years. Just watch how fast businesses build in 3 years. Watch how fast. If they get to keep all their money and they didn't have, Gavin Newsom and all these guys and all these people just taking all the money out of their pockets every chance they get, watch how fast the economy rebuilds if you just got out of the way and left people alone for a while. But common sense isn't common. Common sense isn't common. I'm no economist. I'm a college dropout. What do I know? But that's how I feel about it. I think that would immediately, all the businesses suffering would immediately be in a way better position if they didn't have to get all of their money taken out. But that's how I feel about all of it. But that's some stats about Dogecoin that I wanted to bring up prior to the SNL thing. If you're thinking about what to do, and that's why I wanted to drop this video. It's like, I imagine I'm not one of them. I'm one of the fools that didn't listen to the Dogecoin crowd. And I not only did I not listen, but I also went very much so against the Doge crowd because I just thought, from a fundamental basis, it just doesn't make sense. But I underestimated the power of a meme. I underestimated the power of I underestimated the power of the internet and how a meme can spread like wildfire and how a guy with over 50 million Twitter followers can really get this movement going. But still, I understand the fundamentals of Dogecoin. I understand the fundamentals of an asset versus a currency. And trust me, you don't want to be a currency. To all of the Dogecoiners out there that are like, no, we're going to be a currency. You want to be an asset. A currency is a liability. Being a currency that is actually an asset trying to be a currency is a liability because you need to be able to not create a taxable event. But every time you buy something in that Dogecoin, you have created a taxable event. You made 3 million. No, you didn't. You made 1.6. That's the truth. This guy, a $3 million Dogecoin guy, no, he didn't. He made 1.6 because when he sells it, he's going to owe 40%. It's a taxable event. If he buys a $3 million house with it, he's going to owe 40%. That's a taxable event. It's not a currency. A currency is when you can trade something and there is not a taxable event. There's just a sales tax. So they say it's not a taxable event, but they mean a capital tax event. But we're taxed on tax, and then there's some taxes on top of that as well. And then when you pass away, there's taxes on that as well. So there's taxes on taxes on taxes on taxes. And my whole philosophy, I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I just believe in just go back to the American philosophy of leave me alone. Leave me alone. Stop messing with my money. Leave me alone and get off my lawn. That's the American way. It's real simple. That's the Constitution for you. It's just leave me alone and get off my lawn. And make sure we don't get into any big drama with other countries. That's your job over there. Your job isn't to drop $15 trillion of truckloads of money and all this stuff. The American way is leave me alone. But no, I'm not. I'm a libertarian to the core. I believe in being a libertarian. That's my philosophies on it. But that's the video, guys. I hope that there was some good information in there. If there was, I really would appreciate a like. I'll grab my fancy schmancy like pill before we get out of here. If you could throw a like on the video, would really appreciate it. If you didn't like the video, throw a dislike. I'd appreciate a like, but let me know if you do not like the video, if you don't like some of the information. Let's all learn together. Throw a comment down below on why. Let people know, let your voice be heard in the comment section. Say, hey, I think you missed out on this point on Dogecoin, and this is why I think it'll do really well. I still want to risk all of it. I don't want to sell half. This is why. Put that in a comment down below because I would love to see it. I see all the comments. I do my best to respond to a lot of them and put a heart on a lot of them. But I do see every comment. So if you could throw a comment down there, we're learning together. I'm not a guru. I only know so much information, and these videos are to share the little bit of information that I know to help you guys. That's my goal. Thank you all so much for this crazy late live stream. I don't know why I did a live stream at 1 o'clock in the morning, but I felt inspired to do this. I think I was tinkering so much with the OBS thing and figuring out how to make the live streams better quality. So hopefully this was the best quality live stream yet. I put a lot of effort into making these lives better, as I promised I would be doing. I will be getting these back to a normal time at some point, but I have gotten this dialed in. I got this little Stream Deck thing where I can just click a button and it starts the live stream, and I got my own setup ready to go, so I just can click start a live stream. So these will be a lot easier in the future. But Thank you all so much for being part of my channel. If you want to be subscribed to the channel, would love to have you as a subscriber here. This is the kind of content I post. It's all about money and stuff here. That's pretty much it. I want to be doing motivational type stuff. I want to be talking about money. I want to be talking about libertarian philosophies and just building businesses and that kind of thing here. And, you know, I'm a big in silver, gold, precious metals industry. I love platinum, palladium. I love Bitcoin. I love cryptocurrency. I like the whole movement. I think what I love about Dogecoin, if I could end it on something that I like about Dogecoin, is it's drawing awareness to what money is supposed to be. Money is not supposed to be something that is issued to debt. You know, people make a joke and go, oh, well, Dogecoin is just a joke. It's money out of thin air. And they say the same thing about Bitcoin. Well, what's the dollar? The dollar is worse. It's negative thin air. If you're saying Bitcoin is thin air and you say Dogecoin is thin air, the dollar is negative thin air. It's not even at baseline thin air. It's negative 30 trillion thin air. So it's not even there. You can't even call the dollar thin air. It's negative pressure thin air. So realistically, to all the people that, you know, go, hey, this meme, and I'm one of them, you know, I didn't think this meme coin was going to get to where it is now. I didn't think it was going to get anywhere near where it is now, but I can respect the fact that the dollar is even worse. And there's something to be said there. And so to all the Dogecoin crowd, think about picking up some silver. Think about joining the silver squirrel movement. Think about getting into some hard assets. And I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will with some of your profits. But that's what I would be looking into if I was a Dogecoiner. I'd be like, first off, props to you. You did very well for yourself, but I would take some off the table. I'd take some off the table. I'd let the other half ride, but I'd take some off the table and figure out how to build my own business, figure out tangible investments, some type of collectibles, and then also figure out Bitcoin and Ethereum and that kind of thing. That's how I would do it. But I hope this information brought you guys some good information. You know, it's getting late, guys. You know, it's getting late. And I don't edit my videos. I shoot these in one take, and that's how I roll with these videos. I'm sure that my little sand timer over there ran out a while ago. What do you guys think about the floating light bulb, by the way? That thing was pretty wild. I can't believe that even exists in today's day and age. I mean, I can believe it, but I thought it was a gimmick. But no, it's for real. It's a maglev light bulb. But thank you all so much for being here. Have a great rest of your night. See you guys in the next video. Signing out. And to all my Dogecoiners out there, props to you. Props to you. You crushed it. I wish you the best. I really do. Welcome to the whole crypto community. I'm still learning about it every day myself. What I would beg of you is to learn about it yourself too. Learn about what a currency is versus an asset. I hope that there was some information here that really helped you. Learn that there isn't companies that are allowing you to get a loan against your Dogecoin. And if there is companies that are going to start doing that in the future, that changes the game. But I haven't seen it yet. But that's why I'm so big on my Bitcoin. I know that I don't have to sell my Bitcoin. I get to enjoy my upside in Bitcoin, but also be able to leverage it and get cash flow against my Bitcoin without creating a taxable event, without losing 40% of my Bitcoin. That's my big picture on Bitcoin. If I could just use the one largest point on why I like it better. That's to me, that's even bigger than the fact that it's a hard cap. The hard cap is amazing as well, but I think it's huge to be able to leverage it. And that's what the rich do. They leverage their assets. There's a big difference between an asset and a liability. A taxable event is a liability where you lose 40%. Thank you all so much. Have a great rest of your night, and hopefully we can all get a little bit of sleep. I'm not in the Dogecoin world. You know, I don't own any Dogecoin, so I get to sleep a little bit at night. But if I was in Dogecoin, it'd be a caffeine night for me. I don't know. So that's why I wanted to make this video for anybody that's out there that's like struggling on what to do. They're up a bunch of money in Dogecoin. They don't know what's going to happen next. I mean, it's a gamble. Either way, it's a gamble. Selling half is a gamble. Holding all the way through is a gamble. But me personally, I would take that original investment off the line. I'd take that original investment off the line. If I was up big, I would take that off and I'd let the other half ride and see what happened. You know, you could still hit big on the other half. I mean, that's what I would do. I hope that this information helped. Have a great rest of your night. Signing out, and I will see you all at the next video. I think I said that about 8 times now. But I really love talking with you all. Appreciate you all being up. You know, left side stories say just buy a small amount and join the team. The Dogecoin crowd, you make it real hard on a guy that was so against Dogecoin because you're such a likable crowd. You know, I think that's the situation with Dogecoin. It's like, I was so rude to the whole Dogecoin community, but they're such a likable crowd and they've been right and they've made a lot of money. So it's like, I got nothing but respect for you guys making a lot of money. I really do. I hope you guys do well with it. I hope if you have an idea on how to start a business, don't get seduced into buying some other thing. Maybe build that business that you've been really wanting to build. If you've made a lot of money like this $3 million guy, maybe put something to work because it's going to make you happy. Do what makes you happy. Sitting and shaking on a phone, regardless of how much upside it has, it doesn't make you happy. What makes you happy is building something you're passionate about. That makes you happy. And I know that from firsthand experience. I've made and lost my first 100 grand, I think, 8 times? Like where I've gotten to 100, lost all of it. Gotten to 100, lost all of it. Gotten to 100, lost all of it. And then when I finally started building my own company and figuring out, how do I make 10 grand a month? Okay, how do I make 20 grand a month? How do I make 30 grand, 40? Like how do you put yourself in that position to make a consistent amount of money through a business? Once you do that, it's like it opens up the passions in your brain and it really helps you. So have a great rest of your night, everybody. Signing out.